Untie my shoes. I haven't posted here in a while, not because I quit or because I lost interest, because I was going through one of the hardest seasons in my life. I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. And during that time, I realized there were things God was asking for my attention before my YouTube channel, before my Facebook, before my online presence. There were more important things in life at that time. And in this time, there's more important things. But that time in my life forced me to slow down. And it gave me a different perspective in a lot of things. What I value, how I spend my time, and what really matters when life gets heavy. I had good intentions, but my execution was not stable. I wasn't following through with the plans and goals I had set in front of me. So instead of trying to force consistency and in turn not being consistent, I had to step back and look at how I was living and who I wanted to be. And I needed to rebuild how I actually live. So this YouTube channel is starting again, but not with more motivation, but with a different foundation. For a long time, I kept running with the same pattern, into the same pattern. I kept repeating the same pattern. I wasn't lacking information, and not many of us are. You know, there's so much information at our fingertips, and I think a lot of times we get caught up in this cycle of more information, and we never actually live it. We never live the information. I really don't think I'm lazy. I've got a lot of drive, but I don't have things prioritized. I really care deeply about the right things, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, and personally. When real life applies pressure with work, with the family, with traveling, and fatigue, just getting tired, I break. My follow through kept breaking. I was disciplined in desire, but I failed in my execution. I was inconsistent in my execution. Every single Monday felt like a new reset, new plans, new intentions, maybe the same plan, but another motivation, but it hasn't worked yet. And then I would let the pressures of life slowly, sometimes not slow, undo everything I put my work to. And not all at once, but just enough for me to start over again. So what I've come to see is the problem isn't effort, it's structure. I was trying to live in motivation, but motivation is fragile. I'm learning that motivation is a gift from God to develop discipline. So this year, I'm not trying to do more. I'm trying to become more stable. Stable when life is loud, when it's stable when routines break, and stable when motivation doesn't show up. That's required me to pay attention to small, repeatable decisions. Definitely not because they feel impressive, but those decisions, they're made by who I'm becoming. They're made by who I am. Less intensity and more order. Less reacting and more returning. I've started tracking my days, and not as a productivity challenge or even a streak to protect. I'm still learning what tracking even means for me. And right now, it's not about optimization, but it's about honesty. Did I show up in the small ways that actually matter? Did I actually give my attention to what's in front of me? There's definitely no hype right now and no transformation story yet, just the process. So if you're wondering what this channel is gonna be now, like I am, it's not gonna be a highlight reel. It's not gonna be motivational content. You might get motivated. I might get motivated, but it's not about motivation. We're trying to build discipline here. So it's gonna be about formation, about building a life that holds together even when life itself is not optimal. Sometimes when I post, it'll be reflective, and sometimes it'll be about living out what I'm saying, living out what I've told myself I will do. But all of it will be moving in the same direction. And that direction is becoming the man that doesn't have to reset. So, what's next? You know, what does that look like? I don't really know what it's gonna look like long term, but I'll tell you what's coming. So the next couple weeks I'm gonna be traveling, and I'll take you along for the ride. Travel has a lot of ways of exposing things. It strips routines down and shows you what's actually there, even if that's nothing, even if nothing's left. It shows you what priority is. In the next video, I want to show you what has held and what has let go. I want to share what that's been teaching me. If you're working towards something that's more stable, if you're working towards something that's reliable, I invite you to walk this journey with me. You're welcome to stay.